So thank you for joining the class today, and I would like to continue our topic about um, communications for social entrepreneurships. And as we waiting as according to the context of social entrepreneurship, they are achieved for making difference. And we see that it's uh, a very wide message to make a difference, not only with the social business, but with your profession, with your mission, with your company. Uh, I think it's a good idea for inspiring, but sometimes we would like to make a difference, but we don't know, does we really do it? And for be sure that we really can do the difference, we usually need some measure instrument that help us to understand, did we really that difference? For this um, exist social impact assessment that helps organizations to plan better, implement more effectively, and successfully bring initiatives to scale. For instance, you can target activities that prove to be particularly beneficial or identify and evaluate areas where your investment is not showing the return you expected. My favorite example is about springtime when girls try to find some better appearance and look possibility to stay thicker. And according to my experience when I was a student, it just needed for me decide, okay, I would like to lose some weight, so I will not eat sweets, and I will not eat sweets, and I think it will work. But today we have much more knowledge about this topic, how important to do it wise, because if you quickly lose your weight, it could be danger for your healthy, and for women adult than 40 years old, it could be very danger if you will not eat, not drink, but you will lose the weight. So we have to do this process wise and achieve on specific result, because sometimes if you provide some technology to or instrument on ideas to lose the weight, but they are looks like effective, but they are not effective because they make some terrible difference for your health. How to be sure we do real difference? They are useful, and they are useful for society. They help uh, to solve social problems. Let's let's exercise to think about how to do difference together with the Urban Space 500 and other Ukrainian social entrepreneurships. Impact assessment is a quite wide practical area of modern science. Usually, okay, I would like to greet Alexandra and Sophia too. I'm glad to see you. According to rules of this uh, kind of science, this is more focused on a specialist in the area of social science, behavioral science, and you could find there your profession future if you're really interested in it, because it works in two areas: methods of social science, but at the same time methods um, of communications uh, evaluation. So I would like to explain you how it looks, and I hope you will understand me. AMEC, it's British and at the same time international organization that is focused on measurement and evaluation communication effectiveness. They prepared some special framework that could help every specialist in communication to achieve specific goals and objectives, to achieve social impact, and to build strong system how evaluate this impact. How it looks, these frameworks? It looks from several key steps. Actually, you see them, there are 6. They explain specific results at every stage, but that this wise construction just started maybe at 2008. So it's only 15 years exists. But at the same time, it's really practically orientated and could be useful, and we will use it today for working with the urban space 500. But in the beginning was TOC. I think you know this letters. That is theory of change. Could you say me? Do you know what is theory of change? Did you already learn it with Irina Alexandrovna? If not, if you not remember, it's normally because we are studying here. So Katya, Diana, Alexandra, Sophia. Theory of change is a special chain for planning social activities for achieving some social impact. Okay, if you are not sure that you already know it, I will show you a small video that would explain this chain of theory of change.
Through an example. First, yourself. What are your short and long-term goals? Then, fill in the rest of the diagram with the information you already know. Inputs, outputs, assumptions, and external factors. Inputs are what you invest, like staffing, funding, equipment, and technology. Outputs are the activities you're doing and whom you're doing them for. Assumptions are what you already know. And external factors are things that are out of your control, like organizational changes and environmental factors. Don't feel like you have enough information to start? The logic model helps you identify the data you need and tells you what's missing so you can figure out how to fill in the gaps. Feel like you have too much data and don't know what to do with it all? The logic model helps you organize and prioritize the data to avoid overcollection. Feel like you can't do it?
Okay, the main idea of this video explain you how looks practically the chain of theory of change. Did you saw it already with Irina Alexandrovna? Could you sign in a chat plus or minus? Did you know it? Maybe not with Irina Alexandrovna, maybe with some other courses. So, Natalia, thank you for your answer. So it's a not complicated topic to see. It looks really logically and looks it helps to explain why you do these steps for achieving this social impact. But let's come back to AMEC system because it could be really useful when you plan to achieve some outcome with your social enterprise. Why I took this system and avoid theory of change? Because it gives us more steps, more possibilities to be more specific and achieving our planned goal. So, in the beginning, in the stage of inputs planning, we have to describe objectives, describe our possibility, how much budgets we have, and all needed resources. I would like to remind to be specify in these points to be ready, measure, and to be achievable in planning all these needed inputs. If we cannot measure our budget, we can not plan how to spend it. So it's the metaphor with the loaves, the weight works very clear in this case, because if we don't know how many weight we have right now, we cannot understand how many I would like to lose. And at the same situation with social entrepreneurship, if we would like to make some difference for people with disabilities or for veterans, or to make an impact for ecology situation, we have to know how many resources we have. And sometimes that is not only money, that is more about people, about some uh, places, about rent houses, rent places for producing something, and etc. Second big stage is the activity. It's about implementation our activities. On this stage, we have to think about which kind of decision, which kind of media channels we would like to use, how many, where we would like to do media buying, how we will be media relation with which media, local or national, TV or radio, or only social media, which media partnerships that could give us uh, some media relations for free, not with the media buy. We can use which our private relations we can use for our strategy for making our social impact with our social business. Outputs, actually, it's a quite difficult explain in Ukrainian. If you would like to translate it directly, uh, every every point in Russian would be translated outputs, outtakes, outcomes would be translated like result. But that is quite different option in the planning of evaluation social impact. Outputs that are things that you put out that are received by target audiences. We can measure it with definition, distribution, exposure, reception, and in the last minutes of this class, I will give you some index, hopefully that could help you. Outtakes. What audiences do with your messages and take from your communication. On this stage, we have to describe, we have to analyze, and we actually have to plan which kind of attention on which percent of awareness of uh, uh, which percent of our auditory would understand our key messages, which percent of our auditory, of our clients, of our beneficiaries would be interested in main topic of our social enterprise. How many people engage to this problem? How many people would like to take part in solving this problem? How many people have this possibility to be engaged, to take part, but they really consider, they support this idea that we have to solve this problem. Outcomes shows effects of your communication on audience. We measure outcomes with persons of with a share of our auditory which trust, which satisfy, which advocate main ideas of our social enterprise. And the last stage, usually it's quite complicated to achieve a huge real social impact, but that is like a high goal for any business, not only for social enterprise. It's a high goal that we have to build initially for uh, for our organization, and we have to organize all our activities according to this main high goal, main social impact that we would like to achieve with all our activities. Finally, this frameworks looks like this, and let's try to apply this method. Um, at the beginning, let's try to do it with the theory of change. Actually, why theory of change is such useful? It is causal change that helps your social entrepreneurship path through specific program activities via outputs and outcomes to impacts without miracles, as we see when some successful entrepreneurship uh, have speech at TEDx and just say, okay, it was a miracle. People joined us. We don't know why. That is not our way. We have two small budgets. We have such a small piece of possibilities to be sure that somewhere comes miracle and we will do it. We have to count, to plan, to make clear our objectives and goal, this high goal, social impact that we'd like to achieve, and be sure that we are achieving to this huge result. Uh, this framework, consists framework of theory of change consists from uh, these four steps. That is quite easiest than we already saw with AMEC, and I would like to start with you from easiest form. Something from that you already know, because you are not such experienced in social entrepreneurships like professionals. So let's just take some case that is understandable for you. Do you know this hero, Little Mermaid? Did you saw this movie, this cartoon in your childhood? If yes, please put plus in our meeting chat. If you don't know her, okay, Katerina, thank you. If you don't know her, so I'm so sorry. We will learn this case right now. Okay, okay. Alexandra, Natalia, Diana, Katerina, Natalia. Okay, they are already ready. What did the Little Mermaid boy want? And how did activities lead to the result? Um, when I read this story with Anderson, but later saw this movie, I decided that some high goals were just to get to know humans. And Disney, they would like to add some kind of additional goals to find her prince. Find your prince and you would be happy. Uh, is it good or bad? Let's decide on some other classes. For beginning, I would like to use this story for explain for ourselves, to explain for ourselves uh, how she get this impact, how she get her success with her story. Uh, okay, I'm sorry. Sorry, because I have two different apps and it's already started another meeting. In hopefully I'm not there. Okay. You see, first inputs what made Little the Little Mermaid were visit to the old witch Ursula. Um, Together with she decided for being human she need two legs, and she thought that she have to engage to surrounding of prince, which output she I don't know, does she plan it really? But we see it with this cartoon, which output she really had. And I would like to remind you when we talk about planning result, we have to try to be smart. Uh, we have to describe our goals specific, measurable, acceptable, realistic, and time bound. So, one negotiations about changing appearance. Two new legs, actually three new legs, or one new leg for the Little Mermaid would be not functional. Five times to present herself to the prince in different circumstances, and inputs and output, that is our possibilities that we put to our project, to our business for achieving our high goal or just for outcome. For Little Mermaid, it was get at least two useful tips about humans, two legs instead of the tail, not with a tail, and one inviting invitation from the prince. That is only outcome. That is only not the sense of this story. That is only actually enough level for the Little Mermaid. But we would like to make difference. We begin this story. I think Anderson wrote the story for make difference. Which impact made the Little Mermaid with her life? She gave ours, gave other girls more inspiration for girls around the world to follow her their passion. And with passion, she made more different. She inspired to build more diverse couple in the world. So she increasing diversity. With this story, uh, we increasing diversity. And I think that is not only one impact that Little Mermaid gave us. That is only that what I saw. Maybe you have some ideas that which impact bring us had brought us the Little Mermaid. I agree with that impact that I already described. Maybe if it's if it's complicated for you to say, you could write it in our meeting chat. So I'm open uh, to your ideas. And okay, I just showed you with such a simple instance. Uh, it is good for beginning, but sometimes we need some good example to compare, to look possibility for do it quite better. So that is a real event, Cambridge Social Ventures. They make it every year for inspiring new social ventures, new social entrepreneurs for making change, for doing change, and make this world difference. You can take, actually, I will give Irina Alexandrovna all my two presentation to you. Uh, you can use this example for your future, um, for your future table sheets, if you would like to apply this method. But how to start impact assessment? I talked a lot about the high goal, but how to do it clear and right way. Define your purpose. Um, We remember that every social venture have to begin from actualizing social problem. Uh, our social venture, every social venture is focusing on solving social problem. And if this problem is not worrying for our audience, for our auditory, the social business would work like it's just a normal business without any social impact. So we need to build trust to us from side of beneficiaries or consumers, like people who really involved, you really have some resources to help to be useful in solving this problem. So we have to build our social purpose. Our purpose with according to these three questions. What your initiative is set up to achieve, who will benefit from your activities, and how you will achieve the main purpose. From the last class, we remember these three kind of businesses: Veterana Pizza, Microgreens, and 314 Bar. They are focused on a quite different audience, I think, because microgreens is more about teaching kids to growing planties. Veterana Pizza is about socialization of the veterans, and 340 bond achieved on recycling. We already decided that social problems could be described by these sustainable development goals. So for make it easy to understand which problems we are focusing, we just can look on this picture and remind ourselves what your initiative is set up to achieve. For Veterana Pizza is promote veterans resocialization. For microgreens, provide access to healthy food like salad and transfer knowledge how to grow it. The last one, I think, is about improve recycling used banners by making new products. Who will benefit or consume from our or from your activities? Veterans and pizza fans, persons with disabilities, healthy food seekers, eco activists, and brand followers. And the last, most important question: how you will achieve the main purpose? By creating jobs, by developing new technologies, by promoting old banners recycling. If be if we would be more focused by promoting new kind of mind when you care about your outside, your ecology. And what about purpose for the urban space Vine funded? They, we already talked about this, they are focusing on developing the Kiev city infrastructure. It's according to SDG, that is SDG number 11, build sustainable communities. What their initiatives set up to achieve? Develop the Kiev city infrastructure and build via, and in this case, build sustainable communities. Who will benefit from their activities? Fans of inclusive spaces, restaurants, activists, visitors of city educational events, and self-development. How they will achieve the main purpose? By promoting the value of intellectual and free of stereotypes community at a public restaurant. And I would like to put you back to our main framework AMEC that could give us possibility to describe all our activities focused on achieving social impact with active communication activities. So in the beginning, let's focus on. In the beginning, I would like to say we could share business objectives and communication objectives because only business objectives it is sometimes not about social impact. Sometimes and very often it's about income, how we will build our income. So for business, for developing business of urban space, we have to build strong budget, find staff, and make a founder's goal. For our communication objectives, we have to think about which sources, which channels, communication channels we could be used for our communications. That could be website, social media, the articles that you and TV reports that usually builds our media relations. Which activities we could apply? Things you do to plan and produce your business and your communications. For business, it's together start capital, build this building for use 500 and give, and to promote social projects. That is looks like a main goal. 80% of this business come to realize this social project. Communication objectives about planning production. They ask us to look designer, copywriter, think about media buying, media relations, media partnership, which outputs we could get with this kind of activities. We are waiting restaurant launched with free separate rooms and outdoor terrace that can be used for different educational, intellectual, and music events. That is business output. Communication output could be distribution of articles about US 500 in the local media and newspapers like Hromadski.ua or the Village.com.ua and etc. What audience do with and take out of our communication? According to business goals, they would like uh, to wish of 500 founders to be part of the initiative participation with one equivalent of 1,000 USD each. According to communication objectives, we could have more than 4,000 followers at Instagram, 15,000 followers at Facebook. Actually, you could remember which kind of objectives we could build on this level. It's about awareness and understanding key message. And we remember the smart technology. We wouldn't like to build this outtake only saying, okay, let's have some awareness, let's have some understanding. No, we have to describe for which auditory, which part of this auditory would be would be know about our restaurants. For example, people 25 to 44 years of age showed the highest awareness level for 30% of Kiev residents. And 30% of visitors understand and support our key messages. Outcomes. Actually, I remind you, it's a quite complicated to achieve impact. It's not the process of 1 year or 5 year. It's a high strategy goal to achieve impact. Sometimes we can stop our planning on the level of outcomes. For business, it could be only 500 founders and followers communities and visitors the restaurants. For communication objectives, it could be changing attitude from indifferent to concerned about city social projects, and we have to describe which part of our visitors. I propose to start from 30% for beginning, but if we will get more bigger auditory or more bigger visitors that really share our idea to care about social projects, it could be better. And people from to 25 to 45 have to prefer US 500 because they share the values of the diversity and strong community values. We are achieving on some specific impact and social sense, sustainable community for the Kiev city infrastructure, and in a business sense, it could be just building restaurant reputation that is considered the fashionable and prestigious place to visit. For business, it's enough. In a social meaning context, we need some higher purpose. So, how to measure all these outcomes that we already planned? How to measure? Use KPI. Yes, KPI. It's quite popular today. Quite popular definition today that could help you to measure your goals, your objectives. The author of this definition famously said, Peter Drucker famously said, what gets measured gets done. Measurement is an essential management tool as it helps us determine if our work is making an impact, demonstrate value, manage resources, and focus improvement efforts. These specific metrics used to measure the performance of a company, team, or individual against specific goals. KPI are used to track progress and identify areas that need improvement. Let's come back to our story with the losing the weight. For losing weight, as for my humble opinion, I have to define to make clear which kind of losing weight I would like to have. If that is only about 2 or 3 kilograms, or maybe about 15 kilograms. And sometimes losing weight is not about the making strange my body. So I would like to put, for my case, several specific KPI that would really show me am I successful in achieving my goal. But I would like to explain this KPI for our communicative activities. But before I will explain it to you, let's be sure that we really understand what is performance, what is the performance that we would like to achieve. According to the main standards in the world of performance, standard ISO, international standard, they would like to share two different kinds of performance: effectiveness, extent to which planned activities are realized and planned results are achieved. But more useful to measure efficiency, relationship between result achieved and the resources used. There are quite sad story when girls to try to lose their weight, but they do it very extraordinary weight when they in their last they healthy, and that is not efficiency. But yeah, they got effectiveness. They lost the weight, but with it they lost some part of their health. One of the wide popular kind of KPI for communication is ROI. ROI, it's a marketologist would like to call it the king of the indicators of perfectness. That is return on advertising spends. It is indexed. It is sometimes it's counted in a person. Sometimes it works like index. But the main idea is to see relationship between total campaign revenue and total campaign cost. And in a normal situation, ROAS give us some bigger figure than one. If you have some smaller than one, you lost money. You spend your money very non-effective for your campaign. But advertising value or ROAS, return of advertising spends, it is not such a useful indicator for measuring effectiveness of your communication, because sometimes we got with communications more social impact if it's not easy advertising. If we use some storytelling, if we use some events that could help engage people, and when they started to help some poor people, to support musicians, they have more patience to this kind of auditory, to this kind of beneficiaries, and the communicative effect could be saved during all your life. And advertising, usually it works only at that time when you see it. In this perspective, the advertising and PR spends have quite different volume in the media. And for today, professionals in area of communications evaluation, they propose to use definition of peer value. That is that explain us that is some bigger communicative effect for your communications. When we define our KPIs, what come next? Measuring. We measure to manage, to improve, to convince, to reassure, to sleep at night knowing we are making progress in our mission. So I promised you to explain which kind of KPI we could use for measure social impact of our social entrepreneurships. Actually, these indicators could be used in very different area, not only for social entrepreneurships. And I hope you already learned it with your class of PR technologies. I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. Initially, social impact of media relations were measured by system impact when manager of communication counted how often traditional media wrote about your client, wrote about your entrepreneurships, and they analyzed influence or tone, message communicated, prominence, audience reached, spokesman quoted, and type of article. This main structure saved for today for KPIs that are already used in different indicators, but with a huge changing, because we could have more possibility to measure it. We are not working with a paper newspapers. We already use online instruments, and they works more effective. Which kind of these metrics we could use? First of all, it's a media favorability index that we make clear for social entrepreneurship and for communicative manager how much has the media field become more favorable. How it looks practically. Practically, it looks like a balance of positive and negative and neutral messages about our entrepreneurships at media, but according to different time of year. Sometimes media forget about us if it's the time of Christmas celebrating or Easter celebrating. But when media have some pause, they have some empty place for some interesting news, they are looking for someone who make a difference. And in this case, they would like to ask interview, to make report. You know, today Ukrainian media are full of interesting on news report about volunteer activities, social enterprise activities that whole help army and refugees. Key message: there is not only main task for social entrepreneurship to be impressive, to build impact for our society. It's at the same time it's a indicator that help us understand, does our society, does our consumers, does our audience really believe and things that we build right now. And we just measure the level of understanding key message or level of possibility uh, to repeat key message. Does they really remember it right way? Does they not change the main idea or save it in their mind? So there are different interesting effects of our mind that the queen can measure according to applying key message to our audience. PR value, I already told you. That is the cost of posting publications, but not like some kind of advertising, but like the newspaper article or TV reports. Actually, uh, sometimes it could be user generated content when someone in their private Instagram would like to write about very useful activities or wonderful entrepreneurships that really make difference. So per value, it's a how many money we could economy with this posting, with these publications, because just because people loved us and understand our values. How it looks, why we need this kind of indicators? It can give us possibility to compare how many impact, how many value give us our different represents. Sometimes the chief of the business give us PR value on the 9,000 hryvnias, but employees that every day shows example. If it's a business about care about animals, he or she can write in their Instagram about life of pets, how they care about pets without house, how they care about healthy, and this just volunteer, just employees could give more per value for social enterprise than it give chief or CEO or owner of business. PR team that is accounting for the quantity of ideal materials. Actually, ideal. I hope you understand this word. Ideal. That's mean like Max Weber said. There are two kinds of uh, social types. Yeah, ideal type needed for understand to which goal we are achieving. And PRT, it is index that help us to find some ideal form of publication of publicity. For instance, the article about urban space 500 at public restaurant near Independence Square, how we would count for them main perfectness rate. It's not such a difficult like it's called. We have to define indicators for this for purity. It could be qualitative criterion of publication. Does it really interesting? Does it describe? Does it use storytelling? Does it use some interesting photo? So just common quality criteria of publication. Positive tone of text or title, quote from company representative or client representative, quote from third-party speakers like officials, experts. In our case, it could be visitors, clients, competitors, consumers, supporting the thesis presented in the article, and company key message. We just could check this article. Does they have these points, and how much weight, how much they share they have for all described for all article. For instance, we evaluated every indicator, like first indicator, like 1.4 points, and all another like 0.1 for this positive tone, for quote, and for quote from third-party speakers. But if the journalist remind readers a company key message, we could give, and how they explain it, we could give from 0.1 till 0.3 points for evaluating this count. Finally, when we analyzed all articles about our social entrepreneurships, we can have some not only list of articles about our company, but we can count how attractive was there, how effective was these articles according to our objectives. It could show us when you have only 2 or 3 articles, it's not such important. But when you have during the year more than 200 articles, you need some figures to compare, to look for a positive period and look for ideal article about your company. We are living in modern society, and mostly you and your friends use social media. So we have some special indexes for social media. Actually, social media favorability index, but in area of online, yeah. Size, how much it shows the same, how much has the media field become more favorable. Endorsement index, it's quite, I think, quite a useful and interesting index. It shows us how many other organizations supported us in our activity, in our building social impact. Do you remember this marriage, royal marriage? If yes, please put the plus, because it was very complicated story. Meghan Markle and Prince Gary, they, I see your reaction. Thank you, Natalia. Thank you, Katerina. Meghan didn't have this king status, and but she had a wide auditory all over the world because she is a star, movie star. But at the same time, she wasn't, as people said, she wasn't accepted by the family, royal family. What did Gary and Meghan for be sure that they will continue God support, because they changed their status? They rent 2 PR agencies that worked with a very different auditories about looking for support of this marriage. They put to this ceremony several ecological activities, They didn't done it very expensive. They did it very, I would like to say, sustainable way for got more engagement. But don't don't not understand me wrong way. Don't miss what is news jacking and what is endorsement. Endorsement is support from some organization, but news jacking is just using our informational situation for building some kind of advertising. What did actually IKEA and Lego constructors? Actually, Givenchy, they said everyone that Meghan Markle used their perfumes and they just used this marriage for their income. It wasn't endorsement. It was just using celebrities for sales. But Spain soccer players uh, joined to the flash mob of National Geographic against using plastic. That is really endorsement. They endure the fighting against the plastic using all over the world. Another kind of KPI, it's worked out negative messages. Taylor Swift said, hate is gonna hate, 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 hate. Take it off. Do you remember this song? Please put plus if you know it. Hate is gonna hate, 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 hate. Hate is gonna hate, hate, hate you. Nobody, nobody knows. Okay, Katya, thank you. Katya and Natalia knows. Actually, it's impossible mission um, to say our haters and they will change their mind. Really, it's impossible. But that is important for communication to work out negative messages. And for communicative strategy of social entrepreneurship, every business have some haters. If you would like to do something good, it could be finding someone who will say, oh, they stupid person who spent their money and power for stupid things. What we have to do with that situation? Have we to apologize them or explain them or try to change their mind? What do you think? Is it possible? No, I told already no. But we have to work out. We just have to explain our missions. If we really have some problems or mistakes, we have explained them, apologized them, and moving forward. And we count for our goals in context of our inputs, outputs, outcomes, worked out negative messages. There is not only three this, one of my favorite, replication on use occasions. When uh, our news commented in relation to this event, and the share of user ratings and news publication in the media field as a whole. Usually we call it user-generated content. One of the favorite things that we have in our university is ball, winter ball. And one of my students posted that it's such a pleasant miracle to wear beautiful dress, dance waltz, and just be involved in a university community. Usually only this event and the first day of studying first year students gave us a bigger engagement. How we got this? Via user generated content. Via especially it helps private photos in Instagram accounts, private records in Twitter, Facebook, parents, right? And it's really helped to build strong reputation of university that really have connection with the students. I'm so sorry that you came here beginning of quarantine, then the war started. Hopefully, I hope you will have this possibility to join this wonderful event. Finally, these four, they help to measure, are we really um, focused on achieving our outcomes that we had to plan. But that is not the final. Social engagement index. Usually, when you work with a Facebook advertising room, you see it, but it's not hidden methodology how to count it. It's really easy. You just have to collect all your likes, commentaries, and shares, and just share it on amount of your followers and amount on your uh, posts that you did in this account and measure it with the persons. Finally, both together, it's a 5 index: social media favorability index, endorsement index, worked out negative message, replication of news occasions, social engagement index. Uh, how it's useful for us to get this index of engagement. For instance, we have several popular brands that have some activity in social media. We measure it, our competitors, and then we understand if these kinds of social business like microgreen, they have level of engagement near 29%. But we are just a new account in Facebook and we have engagement only on level 4%. But we would like have that auditory that have our competitors microgreen. We have to put such a many uh, many for advertising, for public relations, for activities, for communication, to get to getting much more or equal to their level of engagement index to be such a wide popular. So it's a good index for measuring our competitors and impact on our activities, to be such an active to use maybe same tone of voice for be more close to the same auditory that have our competitors. And okay, we built Amex system. We used talk chain. We used this promo. We already know some indicators that we could use for uh, evaluating our KPIs. What the next? Some advices. Don't be over ambitious. It's a quite hard job to evaluate our social impact. We would see some troubles really with our data sets, with our impossibility or disability to gather this data set. At the same time, build on what you've got, but think about what's important or easy, and start measuring something about your social enterprise. Which next steps we can apply? Actually, there are some services and trackers that help us to measure our activities. Actually, when we talk about social enterprise, we haven't such many money to use trackers. They are quite expensive, but we can write them and ask them some help. Some indexes got pro bono because we are fighting for social impact, and who knows, maybe the owners of these companies share your values and would like support you by that ways that they have already. I really advise, actually, Alphateca, LBI company, Look Me, Nox Fisher, Semantros, and Yuskan. That is only Ukrainian company, but they works all over the world. Yuskan, they are doing great job, and I know some brand manager they already used their services. But Look Me, it's a very active companies that have a good progress in Silicon Valley, but that were several years ago. They were startups. Today, it's a strong company with several representatives in all over Europe, and I think main office in Czech Republic. So I advise you to check their website to understand what about a topic. And look me, they do some useful master classes about evaluation your communicative activities and some references that could help you in your activity to evaluate your social impact and evaluate your outcome. Thank you for your attention and your classes in our meeting chat. It was really pleasant to see that you are not just switch on, but join my class. It's really a big pleasure to share knowledge with you. If you have some questions, that is the time to put it on now. Okay, I just would like to stop share the my screen. Uh, Hopefully, this class were useful for you not only for measure activities in context of activity of social entrepreneurship. Hopefully, it will be useful for you as a future PR manager or advertising managers. Um, the main tip is just start to measure your activities, start analyzing your private accounts, and look for some milestones that could be help you be not more effectiveness, but got more efficiency of your activity in a sense of using your resources, not spending such a many money for advertising, for instance, but using your followers for share some values that you respect, that you for which you live. Okay, I see no questions. I would like to stop records, and I will send these records to